My spiritual advisor, and it's good to be with you this evening. I am here to talk to you about the male spirituality retreat that I am hosting at Griffith First United Methodist Church in Griffith, Indiana. You can find out the details about this male spirituality retreat on my website, which is myspiritualadvisor.com. We at My Spiritual Advisor, our mission is to deepen the spirituality of humanity. And I'm going to talk to Ralph Zuzolo today about some of the things that are happening at this retreat, why we're having it, and where it is, and how you can access the information about it and then register for it. So I'm ready to answer questions as Ralph's ready to go. Ralph, you have a question for me?
Yeah, Mark, I do. Hey, how long have you been doing these retreats?
Oh my gosh, I've been doing retreats for about 13 years. I was an ordained United Methodist minister for 12 years and then went out on my own. I've served in Catholic churches as well, and so I've been educated at Duke Divinity School and Mundelein Seminary outside of Chicago. So I've been doing it about that long and really enjoying it.
Okay, now this one here, how long has it been going on here in Indiana?
Well, I've been given this retreat about 5 times, and they're for over about 6 years. I have several retreats that are available online that you can look at online. This retreat in particular, the reason why I'm giving it is because I was asked by the pastor of First United Methodist Church in Griffith, Reverend Tim Powers, to hold this retreat not just for his United Methodist men, but for all men. And the reason why is because in my business, which is spiritual direction, in my practice, what I run into a lot is a lot of men who feel unsure about their standing in the world because things are changing. And unfortunately, what happens is, with all the demographic changes and the societal changes about the roles of men in their in their lives and in their families, what we see is that we see people wanting to latch on to ideas about male spirituality that are invested in power. I can't tell you how often I hear the expression, "We're going to take back, something." And what I want to do instead is research. Well, I've done research and prepared spirituality that reaches back through John Paul II and Oliver O'Donovan. John Paul II from the Catholic side, Oliver O'Donovan from the Protestant side, and they're both saying amazingly similar things, and they're both rejecting this notion that for us to get back to something, we need to put things in a power struggle between men and traditional men and society. And what I want to do is just explode that myth and have us approach it from the concept of Christian love, which is self-sacrificing, and it's an awesome retreat.
Okay, I've never been to a retreat. Is this something that I should, like, if you're new to the concept, is this a good starting place?
This is a fabulous starting point, and that's an excellent question. And the reason why it's a fantastic starting point is because we don't assume that you know anything. We don't assume that you know anybody, and so it's open to all. And you can come and you register. And when you register, I basically lead you through the paces of what's going to happen that Friday night, and then again on the Saturday morning. And it's straightforward. There's no test that you have to take. There's no litmus test that you have to meet. There's no, nothing that you have to do. You don't necessarily have to dress in a certain way, although we would prefer that you come clad entirely, right?
So my flip-flops and my sandals and my shorts are probably okay.
Hey, if that's what you want to do, we'll welcome you. Right on.
So what's a day like on a retreat? What can I anticipate?
Well, what you can anticipate is that you're going to be welcomed in, and there's going to be prayer, and I'll invite people to pray, and there will be some reflection. There's a series of talks with breaks in between them. So you'll hear a 45-minute talk and then have a 15-minute break, and during that break you're given an option. You can either contemplate what was said and apply it to your life, or you can talk to others around you for 15 minutes, or you can not interact with anybody. I mean, it's up to you, or you can take a break and get something to drink and eat and those kind of things.
Okay. And is this a retreat where you stay over, or is it?
Actually, no. I've designed the retreat so that you can, if you live in Northwest Indiana in the Chicagoland area, you can actually go home. It starts around. We gather at 6 p.m. and the talk starts at 7, and then it goes until around 8:30. Excuse me, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then you return the next morning, and we'll have a continental breakfast, and so the talks start around 9 a.m.
Okay. And Jen, is it how many people usually are at these retreats, or how what can I anticipate?
The last retreat that I had, the last time that I had this retreat, we had 125 men, and it was really a dynamic time. It was very interesting to have men share common things that they never really thought about. This retreat approaches male spirituality from first the concept of love, and then it also approaches the concept of what it means to be a man, and is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? How does that fit into the world? And what I do is I take the notion of husband, because that's how God started. He started as a husband by creating the heavens and the earth, and then father, because that's how God then moved, was that He gave us the Son, and then after that is the notion of what it means to be son. And each of these has a role that applies to people who are either in those roles or are not in those roles, but can see themselves in those roles for everybody. So let's take, for instance, somebody who's not a husband. Well, sure, you're not a husband, but if you're single, but still there is a concept of what it means to be a husband in male spirituality that God gives to us that we need to act out in the world, and so we can kind of husband the world in a loving, pure, kind way without having to necessarily be married.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of helps us. So you really kind of it's a question of redefining or helping us focus on definitions of the male role right now.
Yeah, and also, I mean, to approach it from a scriptural point of view and from a Christian point of view that is loving, it's generous, and I think it's surprising because usually when we get the bad rap for all kinds of things, but one of the things that we get a bad rap for is this idea that husbands are domineering. Well, if you really look at the scriptures and you really look at what's going on, you'll see that there's some really dynamic, uplifting things that we can do as men that apply not just to the women in our lives, but as husbands, but also all the people in our lives. And so I think when men go to this retreat, what normally happens is they come away feeling good about themselves, feeling good about their lives, feeling that they've got a course and a direction that they've thought through, that they've heard God give to them, and that they believe in, and then they go forth from their retreat renewed and refreshed and excited about sharing what they've learned, and also renewing the relationships that they have in their lives.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds interesting. Is there a cost to it?
Yeah, there is a cost. There's a minimal cost, but because we're not so much interested in making a buck as we are just providing for a light dinner on Friday night and a continental breakfast on Saturday morning, and also for the rental of the hall. So there's a $35 cost in advance online. At the door, it's $45. So if you can register online ahead of time, that's the way to go. The dates of the retreat are Friday, July 31st, begins at 6 p.m. with a light dinner, and then 7 p.m. the talk starts. And then on Saturday morning, there's a breakfast, a continental breakfast at 8 a.m., and then 9 a.m. the talks start. They end, I think, around noon, but that depends because sometimes there's a question and answer session that goes for quite some time. But we hope to get everybody out of there lickety-split, on time, refreshed, and excited. It's at Griffith. It's in Griffith, Indiana, at First United Methodist Church. The directions and everything are on the website at myspiritualadvisor.com. Also in the link on this YouTube video. And you can go there, and if you go to the homepage at myspiritualadvisor.com, it's on the right-hand side. Click on the graphic, and you'll get all the information you need: a Google map, registration form, You can pay via PayPal or credit card. It's easy.
Okay. And
All right.
are you the only speaker, or are there other speakers as well?
I'm it. I'll be there. I'll be the speaker for the evening and then the next day.
Okay, so you kind of steer it through the entire curriculum the whole time.
Absolutely. Through the talk process. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And okay, sounds good.
All right.
I've really enjoyed your sites. I really wanted to get some more information about this site and about this upcoming event, and I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you there. Have a great night. And for my spiritual advisor, just remember, we're deepening the spirituality of humanity by providing quality, safe, spiritual direction, inspiration, and instruction to those who are religious and those who are seeking spirituality. Thanks, and have a good day.